Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right? Posting videos, showing up, and yet it feels like no one's really watching? Well, you're in for a treat tonight, guys. We're talking about LinkedIn video secrets on Monday Night Live. I'm very excited about today's content. If you've ever been stuck seeing the same few people view your content, the same likes every week, while other people seem to be blowing up and getting leads left, right, and center, then you're not alone. I completely understand. I mean, it sounds familiar, right? Today, we're going to show you how to solve all that and how you can use video to build authority. You could be absolutely brilliant at what you do. I mean, you could be a fantastic business coach, a world-class marketing consultant, an incredible doctor even, an outstanding entrepreneur. But it doesn't matter if no one knows who you are. It doesn't matter if nobody knows who you are. It doesn't matter how good you are. Right? Here's the truth. Right now, people's attention is locked onto one thing. It's their mobile device. It's the single most powerful way to build connection, build a relationship with people is through this device, specifically by using video. The trend towards video has been rising for years, and now LinkedIn is next in line. We've seen Laid, and it's about time that LinkedIn video blew up. And LinkedIn's made loads of changes to their algorithm lately, and might have slowed down in the last couple of months while they're making some changes. But trust me when I say LinkedIn video is the future. Those who embrace it are going to gain massive market share, and those who don't will leave money on the table. Because, as I said, it doesn't matter how good you are if no one knows you. So when you start out doing video, it's funny, there's instability. Like, you get a little buzz maybe here and there after a few months, but nothing really moves the needle. This isn't the strategy to get leads and sales fast, right? Eventually, after doing it, and it takes about 6 months. In my case, it actually took a year and a half because I was very early in the game. But you move to something I call the blue ocean, where you start getting a little more consistent attention and people start recognizing you in your particular niche, and you build some credibility. And then if you stay consistent, you hit another level where you start getting leads, people contacting you every day, fighting to do business with you. And you're closing business from your content. And whereas before, what would happen is people would be analyzing 3 proposals. Like if they were looking for a marketing service provider, I would be competing generally against 2 other companies. And then it got to a point where people weren't speaking to my competitors because they've been watching my videos for 6 months, 12 months. They already trusted me. They already liked me. There was that familiarity. It was just, Nathaniel, how do we do business together? They're literally fighting to do business with you, and price becomes irrelevant. And look, it hasn't been a straight line for me. I'm not saying I've got all the answers. I took a break off LinkedIn when my daughter was born for 2 years. So I've witnessed and experienced what it's like not to practice what I preach. So I can't stress enough the importance of consistency, because when I came back after 2 years and I just thought, my audience will just be here. Some of them had moved on. The algorithm didn't know it could rely on me. And it took 3 months really to get it back on track. And that's posting consistently at least 3 or 4 times a week. And I've got the experience doing it. So I'm doing what all the best creators are doing, but it takes a while for the algorithm to learn that it can rely on you. But when you get to that point of influence and authority, there's no competition anymore. You are the authority in your industry, and people will reach out to do business with you, and you become the industry leader. Who have we got on the call here? Let's see. Welcome, Sinisa Jovanovic. I hope I pronounced that right. Lacey Saville in the house from Perth. Darius, nice to see you, mate. Storm, what you're going to get the most loyal Monday Night Live supporter award, I think. Thanks for being here. Philippines in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Love it, love it. I'm not going to waste any more time. We're going to get straight into the content. I've got loads to go through with you today. Look, if you haven't come across Monday Night Live before, my name's Nathaniel. I run a company called Bibby Media Group. Over 12 years, we've helped generate over $500 million in client sales through LinkedIn. And a big part of that has been video. To be honest, it took me about 7 or 8 years into that journey before I figured out a way to package up video marketing for my clients, because I was offering lead generation. We'd reach out to prospects on LinkedIn and set appointments find them, connect with them, and engage and set appointments. And it was way more effective than telemarketing or door knocking or SEO or AdWords in B2B. But meanwhile, while I was offering this to my clients, I was posting video. And when I hit that blue ocean where there was no competition, I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like the lead generation is great. You get immediate return on investment. But this is so much more valuable in the long-term perspective. I was thinking, how do I package this up for my clients? And there's a couple of ways we've done it, through training and then also by creating content for clients. Because I've learned that it's not so much about experience on camera. It's about drawing the right content out from the person. So I've got guys that have had no experience in video whatsoever, maybe 100 or 200 connections that they've never reached out to on LinkedIn. And within a couple of months, they're getting tens of thousands of views on their videos because we knew which content to get out of them. So it's about asking the right questions. And then it's about post-production and video editing. Because one of the things that people say to me the most, right, is, oh, Nathaniel, we've got no shortage of content. We've got tons of content. We write articles every week. We've got this, we've got that. The answer is not more content. The world's got enough of it, right? There's content everywhere. It's actually about packaging the content up in a way that your audience can consume it. And that is a highly skilled thing to do, because you have to know how to copyright. You have to know about design. If you're going to create a thumbnail for somebody to click on, you've got to use the tactics that companies like Netflix use to get you to click on their shows. If you're going to create a caption that makes people press play, that's copywriting. Even a headline, it's copywriting. There's all these skills that go into it. And then video production, I made a decision very early on with LinkedIn that I was going to use high quality video production most of the time, mainly because my clients are bigger companies, C-suite executives, and that's what they would expect. I have no problem with run and gun, shoot it on your phone. I don't have the problem with that as long as the audio is good and the light's coming from behind the camera. But you got to do what's right for your target audience, right? So I think that a lot of people are trying to create videos, but most people are doing it wrong. And it's just through lack of experience. They copy trends, they post generic tips, and ChatGPT creates something and they regurgitate it, but they wonder why they're stuck getting the same 3 likes every post, if they're lucky, just from the same people every week. And meanwhile, top creators, and I'm really talking about the top 1%, if not less than that, and business leaders, they're using a repeatable system that works and they're gaining all of the benefit from it. Because these days, this is where all the attention is, right? This is where you can gain massive influence if you know what you're doing. Okay, so I'm just going to run through what we're going to cover today. So I've got a LinkedIn video course that's coming out in a few weeks, and I've actually been working on it for the last 4 months. So a lot of this content is I'm just giving you the high level sections of the course, because obviously I can't deliver it all in one session, but I'm going to share with you the algorithm hacks that work on LinkedIn. I've got a viral video formula, which is a framework I developed, which I'm going to share with you. I'm going to talk to you about hooks, how you can capture attention in the first 3 seconds, and a bit about storytelling as well. Very, very valuable if you want people to remember your content, and how to build authority. And this is the way that, because a lot of people will put in calls to action, because if they post videos, God damn it, we want to sell something, right? This is how you can build sales systems through authority without actually putting direct calls to action in front of people. Because if you're trying to build familiarity and if you're trying to build likability and trust, the problem with putting calls to action in front of somebody all the time is you're just going to annoy them. You've got to be adding value. You use authority as the method to draw people in and make it their idea to reach out to you rather than you give them a call to action. Then I'm going to move into one of the most valuable parts is the rapid production method. And this is how you can create 3 or 4 months worth of content in just 2 or 3 hours. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Video is a great way to batch create content. And then finally, we're going to wrap up with videos that sell. So let's dive in. And thanks for jumping in the chat, guys. Hey, by the way, as we go, drop in your questions into the chat, because I've got so much content to get through. If you drop your questions in early, then I'll be able to make sure that we get to all of them. Okie dokie. By the way, did you have a good Easter break and Anzac weekend? So in Australia, we've just had about 10 days holiday. Most people have been on holiday for 10 days. I just came back from Marg River with the family, which was lovely. Let's bust a myth first. Viral videos are not luck. They are engineered. There is a formula. It's been proven and success leaves clues, that if you want to get a lot of attention on your videos, you follow this system and you can do it. And the first thing you need to do is you need to hook your viewers up front. You need a big emotional hook to capture people's attention. The first 3 seconds are going to determine whether or not your video is successful or not. If your first 3 seconds are rubbish, then your video is not going to do well. It's not going to get a lot of attention. You need a big emotional hook. It's the same as when you're writing your captions on LinkedIn, when you're writing an article. The hook is the most important part. We call it the hook because it's like fishing. That's how you catch the fish. Okay. Matt Pedley in the house. Wenzel Wu, welcome. Thanks, Maria. Okay. I've been doing video for 12 years. I actually started on LinkedIn. And the first couple of years, it was definitely longer than that, but I started taking it more seriously after a couple of years. I was posting talks and workshops and things on YouTube for the first year and a half. So I wasn't a stranger to video. And then I started listening to a guy called Gary Vee. Drop in the chat if you know Gary Vee, right? He just got me convinced. I thought this guy knows what he's talking about. And he was talking about jab, right hook, add value through video, build your brand. I hired a videographer. Actually, the way it worked was, this is an interesting story. I went online to find a video company to help me produce videos. And the first company I found said, yeah, we'll produce you a video for a couple minutes long. It'll be 5,000 Australian dollars, which I thought, oh, okay. So I did it, and I did like a about us video that was kind of suitable for the website. But I thought, how am I going to create content ongoing if it's $5,000 each time? So I went on Airtasker, which is like a site that you can post a job on and individuals can bid on it. That's how you get people to come around and mow your lawn and stuff like that. So I put an ad up there for a videographer. I found somebody for $400 a video. And we got to know each other really well. We were spending at least 2 days a week together. He would follow me to meetings. I would do interviews. I started my LinkedIn Heroes series then. And we were figuring it out as we go. And all my friends and all my business colleagues and associates were saying, what are you doing all those videos for, Nathaniel? Because at the time, I didn't really have an answer. There was not many people watching them. I was spending a lot of time on it, quite a bit of money on it. And I just used to put my headphones in and go for my evening walk and listen to Gary Vee. And that's why a peer group is so important. Like these days, most of the people in my peer group are posting content, But back then, I had to rely on a podcast to get that peer group to realize that I wasn't crazy. Well, I still wasn't sure at this point, right? But after about a year of doing this consistently and focusing on it, something happened. So what actually happened was I went onto YouTube and I noticed that 90% of my subscribers, which wasn't a lot, but 90% of my subscribers were coming from one video. And I probably had 200 on there, 200 on YouTube. I studied that. What is it about this video? And on YouTube, you can see a retention graph. So you can see in the first 3 seconds how many people are watching on average. And then as time goes on throughout the video, what will happen is it'll drop off. But on this particular video, it was very slow to drop off. Most of them just drop off really quickly in the first 10 seconds. On average, about 50% of your audience have stopped watching after 10 seconds. On the average of all videos, after a minute, it's 80%, right? That's why it's so important to capture people's attention. Now, this video, it captured attention. And the way that the YouTube algorithm works is it's not based on the number of views you get or the number of likes or comments. It's actually based on watch time, how long people are watching your videos for. And I can tell you now that LinkedIn's doing the same thing. As Instagram, they're all analyzing watch time because their algorithms have got smarter. At the end of the day, they want to give their users and their members a good experience so they stay on the platform, so they can show you more ads and make more money. Watch time is the most important statistic when it comes to video, right? Very, very, very important. So why aren't your videos getting seen? These are the top reasons. Weak opening. You don't have a strong hook. You've got low retention and you've got low comments. So when it comes to LinkedIn, whatever you're posting, whether it's an article or a video or an image, it's not likes that are most important. It's comments, because social media is designed to drive conversations. Conversations create relationships, And if you're starting relationships with the right kind of people, then that will lead to sales. No different to 20 years ago when I started my career. You could walk into the office, and if everyone's on the phone, that business is making money. Why? Because they're having conversations, and that builds relationships, and that will lead to sales. These days, it's a very, very different world. I remember my first sales trainer said to me, the most important part of the sales process is the first 7 seconds when you meet somebody. Make eye contact, with a firm handshake and a big smile. Well, newsflash, the first 7 seconds is not happening face-to-face anymore. It's happening online. And if you're posting video, there's a good chance that is going to be the most important part of your sales process. The final reason that people aren't successful with video is just lack of consistency. I see clients all the time, they'll post 2 or 3 videos and they're actually doing pretty well for the first 2 or 3. And they're like, yeah, but we didn't get any leads. We haven't got any business from it. We're not going to continue doing this. It's so time consuming. So most people do not fail at video. They just give up, right? So it doesn't matter how much content you have. It just doesn't matter. It's all about structuring it the right way, right? So when you repackage it and put a strong hook first, you trim the fluff and focus purely on the audience's experience, the views jump. I've had clients with only a couple hundred connections go from 500, 600 views to over 100,000. Happens all the time. I mean, at the end of last year, a lot of small creators were going super viral with video if they structured it the right way. And it didn't actually matter if they had high quality production or not, as long as that hook up front was good and they had that consistency. So it is about being consistent, but it's not about making loads of videos. It's about making better videos, right? So let's start with hooks and storytelling secrets. Okay, so a couple of examples here. And you would have seen these around. And there's a reason why you see these around, because they work, okay? People have a bias towards the negative. This is worth, being mindful of. So rather than saying up front, this is how you get more views on your LinkedIn videos, I would actually do a lot better if I say, these are the 3 things that people get wrong when it comes to video. So you can start your hook like this. Most people get this wrong. It's a great way to start your video hook. Another one is what nobody tells you about blank. It's another hook you can use. And here's why your blank is failing and how to fix it. These are all slanted to the negative. You see what I'm doing here? People will relate to the problem more than they will the solution. So you actually want to talk about the problem more, especially up front in your videos, than you do about the solution. You'll notice when it comes to B2B marketing, I'm always talking about problem solving problems. Most people, if they knew what the solution was, they're probably already dealing with somebody in your industry or they've already solved their problem. People will identify with the problem. Another thing you can do is ask questions, So make it about the audience. Like, have you tried to post videos on LinkedIn? I mean, look at the posts that I've done to promote this event. You'll see some good examples of hooks slanted to the negative. When I started my business 11 years ago, I was broke and I quit my job and I was close to getting evicted and I ran out of money. I was $20,000 in debt and I was in a lot of trouble, and I actually had my power cut out that night and I had to get a couple of extension cords that I could plug together and run them down the stairwell of my apartment building so I could plug the other end into a lamp so I'd have some light in my apartment. And that's where my first business plan was written. And about 3 years into my video creation journey, we were shooting some videos and I ended up sharing this story on camera. And that evening, the videographer sent me a video of me sharing that story. And I think at that point in my career, I was still a little bit nervous about being vulnerable and being open like that with business people, because I spent most of my career being young. Like, I started business 17, and all through my 20s, I kind of felt like the youngest person in the room. So I would always dress in a suit and I would always just over professionalize everything to make up for that imposter syndrome that I had for being a bit young. And I would never dream of sharing that I started my business with no money. Like, that to me was, that's showing weakness. And I decided to take a risk and I posted the video, and it got a lot of views, don't get me wrong, but that wasn't the most valuable part of it. Like, I still get people who mention that video to me today, and that's 7 or 8 years ago. It was only, it was about 3 years after I posted it, and I was walking through the airport. He tapped me on the shoulder, and it was actually a security guy from the airport, and he said, "Hey, you're that LinkedIn guy, right? I saw that video. What an awesome story. I mean, I'll tell you what, if you don't use storytelling, it's just going to get forgotten. Like, facts will get forgotten. The only way to get people to remember your content is through storytelling. And there's been lots of scientific studies around this. I'm not going to go into the neuroscience behind it. But if you want people to remember your content, use stories. Okay. And there's got to be value in it as well, right? There's got to be value. So it's not just a case of sharing loads of stories, but what you'll find is if you write down your stories, you'll find that there's a message in a lot of them, because you got to think about the gap, right? So if you're great at accounting, or you're a business coach, or you run an import-export business, you know a lot more about that than your customers, right? So you were where they are at some point in your life. And if you can remember what it felt like to have that imposter syndrome, or be unaware of some of the things that you know now, and how you actually broke through it, either by making mistakes or hiring a coach or reading a book, and sharing that story helps your audience close the gap from where they are now to where they want to go. And if you give them value like that, they're going to think to themselves, geez, if that's what he's posting for free, imagine what it's like to do business with this person. Drop in the comments, guys, and let me know if you're getting value from this. We're moving on to the authority sales system. So we're going to talk about selling without selling. There's a few ways to do it. So the ones I want to focus on are education, entertainment, and inspiration. So if you are seen as a trusted authority, you don't need to sell, because people come to you. Now, it doesn't happen overnight. So if you're looking for a quick solution, or you're looking something that's going to bring leads in tomorrow, this isn't for you. This is a long-term strategy for people that want to build sustainable businesses. Okay. I'll tell you one of the quickest ways, by the way, to position yourself as an authority: podcast clips. Podcast clips. There's been some research around this that shows that podcast clips actually get a 400 times return on investment when you use them as ads, and you notice all the big guys use podcast clips. So a lot of people will to create content, will just invite podcasters into their office to interview them, and then they just film their responses and use them as clips. It positions you as an authority because someone's interviewing you, you're on a podcast, and it's just very easy to create bite-sized content. So you could ask ChatGPT to interview you. You could ask your friend to interview you. You could interview yourself. I mean, sitting in front of a mic, those clips do the best statistically, and they will position you as an authority. You can go live like this, talking to your audience, but it's like someone else is validating you. It's third-party credibility. It's like speaking from stage, and it's powerful at positioning yourself as an authority, because people will assume that you know what you're talking about. And that feeds into your content machine. So like if you did one interview, you could quite easily turn that into 20 short authority building video clips. But you want to focus on the topic is very important. So what sort of topics do you want? Well, imagine that your audience, the people that could potentially see your video, is an upside down pyramid, right? So it's wider at the top and it gets narrower, like a funnel as it goes down. The people at the top of the funnel are in what we call the awareness stage, where they're not really aware that they have a problem yet. And then you move down and they're problem aware, and then they're considering alternatives, and then they may have contacted you and they're analyzing their options, and then they actually buy. And then there's the referral stage as well. Advocacy, that's what I call it, advocacy. When you're doing organic content, especially with video, you need to cater for the awareness stage, the top of the funnel, because that means that enough people in your audience are going to relate to the content, which means it'll get enough engagement and enough watch time to get boosted and go viral, if you like. Let's just imagine that the algorithm shows your content to 10 people to start with. Now, if those 10 people, if a decent portion of them, say 2 or 3, actually watch your video and leave a comment, maybe a like, LinkedIn will look at it and go, okay, that's a decent piece of content. People are enjoying it. Let's show it to 100 people. And if the engagement continues, they'll show it to 1,000. They'll show it outside your network, and that's how you go viral. So the problem is, if you're not catering for the awareness stage and you're catering for the consideration stage, people who are already looking at solutions in your industry, you're not going to capture many of those 10, because it's only ever going to be about 15% of people that are ready to buy now, if you're lucky, right? Depends on your industry, but it's not going to be closer to 90%. So how do you do that? Well, one way is to talk about the problem, but you want to make your content relatable, and mainly in the hook, right? So even if you're talking about leadership, right? Instead of saying most CEOs get this wrong, You immediately tell everyone that's not a CEO that this video is not for them if you do that. What you want to do is change it and say most people get this wrong. Just at the hook, or most leaders get this wrong. Most of us get this wrong. It's a small change, but you don't isolate a bunch of your audience. Good feedback. Thanks, Amir. Appreciate that. Matt, good to hear from you, mate. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to drop in your questions, guys. I want to deliver as much value as humanly possible. All right, and now the rapid production method. This is what I've been using to create content for my clients called Behind the Brand. I prepare an interview where I ask questions that are designed to create short, engaging content that's going to be relatable to people on a human level. One of the problems that most businesses have is they don't share the stories and the people behind the business that they're in. So I call it Behind the Brand because as soon as you share your story and show the human side to your business, people will just automatically trust you more. They're more likely to choose you over the next service provider. So I remember like I was filming 1 or 2 videos a time with my videographer, and then one day we smashed out 12 videos in like an hour. And I thought, this is the way to do it. It's so much more cost effective, right? You only need the videographer for an hour. Everything else gets done afterwards, editing. And yes, at the start, it took a long time to edit because we didn't know where we were starting and where we were stopping. Makes it a lot easier when you understand things like hooks and structures and how to write a script. And you don't have to script the whole thing. It depends on what makes you most comfortable. But I generally suggest scripting the hook. Like the first 10 seconds, you want to make sure you know what you're saying. And then perhaps at the end, just having some sort of call to comment to get people to engage in the comments. People spend all this time worrying about things that don't really matter, like outfit changes or overthinking the way that they look or what they're wearing or what's behind them. I mean, you don't want things behind you that are going to distract you. I mean, I know I've got some lights and bits and pieces and stuff like that, but the idea is that you're focusing on the content, okay? And momentum is magic. Like if you spend 3 hours, I mean, my challenge to any of you that want to take this seriously, right? Plan at least 12 video hooks. Right? You can get ChatGPT to help you with this, but just make sure that they're using a question or slanting to the negative, or maybe a listicle, like the 3 ways that the 12 steps to, so people know what to expect, right? It's like a Netflix series. People will go back to the same series because they know what to expect. And then you want to record every video in one session, all those 12 videos in one session. This is all within 3 hours, by the way. And then if you're going to edit them yourself, I suggest using Opus Clip. Check it out. opusclip.pro is the website. It's an AI tool that will automatically create micro clips from a long form video. So you just press record once, do your 12 videos. I mean, if you did a clap in between each video section, even if you repeated parts of the video, Opus Clip would probably edit it. They might not get it 100% right, but they'll probably edit it pretty close to how the video should be structured. And the beauty of Opus Clip is it will automatically put subtitles in for you. I don't use it that often because I do find that it reduces the quality of the video a little bit. It's going to get better and better though. AI is the future, and if you can put in like some B-roll just to make it seem a bit more interesting. By the way, B-roll is like, how do I explain what B-roll is? Well, it's like additional footage. When you're like watching a story on the news or something, and they'll have somebody talking and then they'll cut to like shots of, you know, the fire in the Queensland or whatever it is. That's B-roll footage. So you can do the same thing with your business. And those cuts and just changing the images around, changing the camera angles makes it more interesting, which actually keeps people's attention. You want quick edits, like every 3 seconds there should be, or not 3 seconds, but 3 to 5 seconds there should be an edit. It's not like videos in the old days where you would like hold a shot for 10, 15 seconds. That doesn't work on social media. So when you've created your 12 videos, on LinkedIn, you can now schedule natively in LinkedIn. So I suggest scheduling them, do at least 2 a week, right? That should last you for 3 weeks. And then at the end of those 3 weeks, you want to analyze which one's got the most engagement, which one's got the most comments. And then you create more videos like that. Do another 12, just focusing on those topics, getting real narrow down on those topics. In this video course, I spend a lot of time on topics and how to create your content pillars and your content topics, and how you can do different varieties of the same thing, because people will forget. You need to repeat yourself over and over again. The story about me starting my business when I was broke, I've repackaged that up into videos, I don't know, at least 10 times, I think. And they always do well. You just position it in a different way. Storm checked out Opus this week. Should I pay for features or stick to the free plan? I have the premium version. I'm not sure what the free plan involves. I've suspicion the free plan will be absolutely fine. I mean, maybe it's got some logo on it or something. See how you go. I can't remember exactly what the difference is. I got the premium version because I was very excited when it came out. I wanted to try it out. Gia, hi, I haven't spoken to you in a while. What's your taking leveraging AI to create content at scale? I'm all for it. Like, I think you just need to learn the fundamentals are so important, right? It's not so much about the tool. Like, AI is a tool. It's about the engineer using the tool. So I think it's great to create your content pillars and topics and stories yourself, but then get AI to give you additional ideas to help you write the hooks. You can get them to help with editing, definitely with subtitles. I mean, that's fantastic. It's just at that stage, right, where it's like good, but it's not, you still need to give it a bit of massaging. You need like good prompts. You can't expect them to get it right the first time round. So if you don't know what you're doing, then it becomes more difficult. But Gia, I mean, you've got a lot of experience in this area. I think it's a fantastic way for you to scale. But what I've noticed with clients that I work with is sometimes they all want to save time. They want efficiency and productivity, and they get excited when they find all these different pieces of technology. And most of the time, honestly, most business owners out there, they waste more time on technology than they do save time. Like, I think the AI tools that are going to do the best are the ones that keep it simple and make it just really easy to use, because some of them that can do too many things and it becomes a little bit confusing. Yes, the Opus logo. Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. Honestly don't. Entirely up to you whether or not you want to get rid of the logo. CapCut's another one, by the way. If you're comfortable doing it on your mobile phone, CapCut's fantastic. And yeah, I've got CapCut at the moment. Just wanted to create one video, so I signed up for a week. So you can like literally cancel it, use it, cancel it, whatever. There's lots of them out there. Opus Clip do free subtitles. So even if you have the video done yourself, you can put the subtitles on there for free. Just Google Opus Clip subtitles. So how do you turn viewers into buyers, right? So it goes back to the funnel that I was talking about. So you got the top of the funnel, which is the awareness stage. You need to create content there that's educational, entertaining, inspirational, no sales pitch. You also do need middle of the funnel content, but it just can't be all of your content, right? Majority has to be top of the funnel. So middle of the funnel is where people get to know you a bit better, trust building, think storytelling. And then bottom of the funnel is where you can have light call to actions like DM me video if you'd like a copy of my video ebook, for example, or comment below, with video, or follow this link and fill out this form to get this webinar or get access to this thing. And then they're in your sales funnel, right? What you'll find is people will reach out to you if they're ready to do business with you. I am all for sending connection requests and sending private messages to set up meetings with people that are in your target market if they've been watching your content. Eventually, they'll be the ones that message you, okay? So, by the way, if any of you do want to be on the wait list for my course in 3 weeks or thereabouts, DM me on LinkedIn the word video and I will make sure that you are in the loop. I'm only accepting 20 people into the first round because I'm going to be doing weekly live calls. Mainly, I'm going to be doing lessons and then weekly live calls, mainly so I can get feedback from you guys and fine tune the course as we go. But there's going to be a lot of value, so I'm going to take 20 people this first round. So if you want the information on that when it's ready to go, just DM me video on LinkedIn. We live in a world where people don't want to be sold to. I've talked a lot about this. I've had some guests on that are sales coaches and things. People don't want to be sold to. People are making buying decisions, especially in their business. They don't want to feel like someone's coming in and trying to manipulate their decision. They're already stressed out about it. What they want is an expert or somebody that can help guide them to making a buying decision because they do want to buy. They just don't want to be sold to. What they're crying out for is to buy from somebody that they trust, right? This starts online. You can build trust at scale with videos. I wouldn't be paying too much attention to the fact that at the start, you're not going to do that well. You're not going to get as many likes. It's actually about the reps. The more videos you drop, the quicker you'll learn and get better. And it won't be a straight line. You'd be 3 weeks where, they don't do that well. And then all of a sudden you'll learn something, an insight. And as you go, the more content you post, the more you'll learn. That's how you learn. So post. I interviewed Grant Cardone once, who's built a huge audience on social media. And he said, dude, you just got to be posting. Like, he's not like, he doesn't spend much time thinking about the edits. He's just dropping video after video after video after video and looking at the results. And he's not afraid to be controversial. But that's about driving comments, right? So you can do it through controversy, but you can also do it by driving emotion in people. Storytelling is a very easy way to do it. Inspirational posts do exceptionally well. If you've done written content or image posts that have done well, just turn them into a video. And make sure you tag me, guys, when you do post your videos. I'd love to see them. More than happy to give you some feedback if you like. But we're about to wrap up, so let me know your feedback. I mean, I'll just summarize this with viral videos are engineered. They're not random. And the algorithm rewards engagement and attention. So you can't negotiate hooks and storytelling. You need to understand how to capture people's attention, even as little as a thumbnail. Like, you can upload a thumbnail on LinkedIn now, and I'm guilty of not always doing this. But when I do it, I get a lot more clicks on my video, because even though you get a view, LinkedIn only qualifies a view as somebody that's watched for I think it's 3 seconds. It might even be 2 seconds. So just because somebody scrolled past it for 2 or 3 seconds doesn't mean they watched your video. Make sure you always have subtitles. Always. 80% of people are using LinkedIn without the sound on, but it's more like 90% when people are in the news feed. So when people are actually consuming content, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a lot higher than that. On TikTok and Instagram, it's like 99%. So the generic subtitles that LinkedIn put in is not enough. Like, you need big subtitles that capture attention. Opus Clip's a great way to do it. You don't need to pay for it anymore. Just make sure you review them, make sure they got the spelling right. And then batch create your content, guys. Like, you don't want to be creating one video at a time. It's too time consuming. You got way more important things to do. You're only as good as your last video. So keep posting. Look, if your video sucks, no one's going to see it anyway. So it doesn't matter. Would you delete it afterward? No, you don't need to delete it. Just keep posting. I think it's great to have a record of your progress. I love going to a big creator's LinkedIn or whatever channel, really, and looking at their videos. I use a tool called Clio, Kleo. It allows me to look at someone's profile and organize every post they've ever done by most likes, most comments. And what I like to do is actually go by the oldest posts. I went to Alex Hormozi's LinkedIn profile recently and looked at his oldest posts. Guess what? No likes, no comments. They were rubbish. And as you scroll down from older, after a year or two, he starts to figure it out and they start to get better. And now he's got millions and millions of people watching his videos, right? So look, if you found tonight valuable, please do repost it, share it on LinkedIn, smash the like button, drop a comment. And look, next week we're coming back. I've got topics lined up for Monday Night Live all throughout this month, different topic each week. So if you go to my LinkedIn profile, just scroll down to my posts and click on events and you'll see the ones that are upcoming. Register for those if you want to see them. And if you want to tune in live, that'd be great because we can have a conversation. You can ask questions, but they are all recorded as well. So you can watch them on LinkedIn or YouTube if you want to do that. And don't forget, if you want to hear more about my video course and be part of the 20 people that I'm going to open the doors for in a few weeks, then just DM me on LinkedIn with the word video and I'll make sure you're included in that. Thanks for being here, guys. I really appreciate you supporting Monday Night Live. It's been a great episode. I hope you got value from it and I'll see you next week. Have a great week in business. And that's a wrap.